Twitter suspended the account of White House coronavirus task force advisor Dr. Scott Atlas because Dr. Atlas tweeted an article about face masks. And we'll get to the reason why that article offended the Twitter overlords in a moment. But first, did you notice that when evidence-based lockdown skeptics cite actual science to back up their opinion, they're censored on social media? But when Democratic politicians tell people to refuse the still non-existent coronavirus vaccine because of Trump, nobody says a word about how that advice is based in politics and not based in science. So here's my question today. If we were originally supposed to stay locked down for 15 days so hospitals weren't overwhelmed by COVID-19 patients, lockdown for a month to slow the spread of the virus, lockdown for 6 months to eradicate the virus, stay locked down until a vaccine, but now Democrat politicians say vaccine bad because Trump president. When does this end? We have gotten to the point where literally we aren't even allowed to discuss COVID-19 or COVID-19 policy unless we echo the mainstream media pundits. You'll notice I did not say scientists. Unless we parrot the Democrat mainstream media talking points, we're silenced. We are told by these so-called experts that we're not allowed to have Thanksgiving. No funerals, no church, no Orthodox holidays, no school, no college, no bars, no indoor dining, no political rallies if you're conservative. But if you're anti-Trump, go for it. Take a look at this video. This is of the so-called Women's March in Washington, D.C. Thousands and thousands of people packed together in a giant crowd. The so-called experts who tell us we can't celebrate Christmas with our families unless we're outside, they did not have a problem with that massive gathering of people. So back to Dr. Atlas, an actual expert, an actual scientist. And before any leftists try to discredit Dr. Atlas because he's not an infectious diseases specialist, all you same leftists were perfectly fine shutting down the world economy based on absurd model predictions from Neil Ferguson, who is a theoretical physicist. So you should probably retire that silly talking point right now. Twitter, however, forced Dr. Atlas to delete the following tweets. Twitter even suspended Atlas's account for posting this article talking about the pros and cons of face masks and their efficacy against the transmission of respiratory viruses like COVID-19. As a matter of fact, I also posted this article on my Twitter account this weekend, and I was surprised when only 250 people retweeted it. Typically, thousands and thousands of people retweet my tweets. Strange, isn't it? That when Twitter doesn't like a certain article or a certain topic, the tweet just dies. Even though the click-through rate was almost 6%, which means people were very interested in reading the piece. The essence of the article claims the efficacy of face masks to stop transmission of respiratory viruses might depend on what kind of PPE and if the PPE is used properly. That seems like a valid discussion. Dr. Scott Atlas also cited CDC research, WHO research, and the director of the University of Oxford Center for Evidence-Based Medicine, who is also the editor-in-chief of the British medical journal, Evidence-Based Medicine, who all said the scientific evidence raises serious questions about the efficacy of mask mandates. If these people that I just mentioned aren't experts, then who is, according to Twitter? Not a Stanford University doctor, apparently. Not the World Health Organization, apparently. Not the CDC, apparently. Not an Oxford University medical director. Not peer-reviewed studies. Not empirical evidence. Nope. The experts, according to Twitter, are basically liberal cable news pundits and Democratic politicians who want to keep our country locked down in their effort to hurt Donald Trump. And if you dare to question what the so-called experts dictate, if you speak the truth, you will be suspended from Twitter. Meanwhile, the draconian lockdown dictates continue indefinitely as Democratic politicians, for the 1,000th time, shift the goalposts from 15 days to what looks like forever. As Dr. Atlas tweeted and George Orwell wrote in 1984, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. And if all others accepted the lie which the party imposed, if all records told the same tale, then the lie passed into history and became truth.